Today I speak of riches not as something distant, reserved, or accidental, but as something lawful, deliberate, and obedient to thought. Wealth is not a miracle that happens to a few, it is a principle that responds to everyone who understands it. Riches are not pushed into your life by force, they flow in when your inner world finally agrees with abundance. To get rich in 365 days, the first thing you must understand is this: money is not your enemy, and it is not your master, it is a servant. And like every servant, it obeys clear instruction. Confusion repels wealth. Certainty invites it. Most people fail to become rich not because they lack effort, intelligence, or opportunity, but because they hold divided thoughts. They desire abundance while secretly believing it is difficult, sinful, or meant for others. The universe does not respond to what you want, it responds to what you accept as true. Your first task is to make peace with wealth. You must no longer admire it from afar or criticize those who have it. Envy blocks supply. Judgment shuts doors. When you bless wealth wherever you see it, you signal readiness for your own. For the next 365 days, you must practice mental discipline. Every word you speak is a command. Every repeated thought is an instruction. If you continually say, "Money is hard to earn," life will faithfully prove you right. If you say, "Opportunities flow to me in expected and unexpected ways," life rearranges itself to confirm that belief. Riches arrive through channels. Some channels already exist in your life. Others are unseen until you align with them. Your work is not to chase money, but to prepare yourself to receive it. Desperation repels. Calm expectation attracts. Each morning, before the world speaks to you, you must speak first. Declare that this day brings you closer to abundance. Do not beg. Do not plead. Speak as one who knows. Confidence is not arrogance, it is alignment. Many people work tirelessly yet remain poor because they work without faith in reward. Others grow rich with ease because they expect compensation for their value. Expectation is a magnet. You are paid not only according to effort, but according to belief. You must release fear of loss. Fear contracts the mind and strangles opportunity. Money circulates freely only where it is trusted to return. When you give with faith, you open space for greater supply. When you hoard with fear, you announce scarcity. For 365 days, refuse to speak of lack. Even when appearances suggest otherwise, do not testify against yourself. Silence is better than complaint. Faith is louder than circumstance. Ideas are the currency of wealth. Rich people think differently before they earn differently. A single inspired idea, acted upon with courage, can change your entire financial life. Be receptive. Inspiration comes when the mind is quiet, not frantic. Do not compare your path with others. Comparison breeds discouragement, and discouragement dissolves power. Your supply has your name on it. It cannot be taken by another, delayed by another, or blocked by another unless you allow it. Act when prompted. Opportunities are often wrapped in ordinary moments. A conversation, a suggestion, a sudden urge to learn or start. These are not accidents. Hesitation is often the only thing standing between you and prosperity. There will be moments when nothing seems to move. Do not interfere with doubt. Seeds grow underground before they appear above the surface. Faith is proven in unseen seasons. As the days pass, your confidence will grow. You will notice money responding differently to you. Debts dissolve, income expands, doors open. This is not luck, this is law in motion. At the end of 365 days, you will not only be richer in money, but richer in certainty. You will know that wealth is not chased, it is claimed. Not forced, it is allowed. Not begged for, it is expected. When your thoughts are disciplined, your words aligned, and your faith unshaken, riches cannot help but come. For abundance is not something you seek, it is something you remember, belongs to you. And what you accept with certainty must appear. Wealth follows belief, not effort alone. Because effort without expectation is labor without direction. Many people exhaust themselves working harder, longer, and with more strain, yet their financial condition remains unchanged because their inner agreement with wealth never changes. The outer world is a mirror, and it reflects not what you do, but what you are convinced of. If a person believes deep within that money is scarce, difficult, or reserved for a chosen few, then no amount of effort can override that silent conviction. Life faithfully organizes itself around belief, not struggle. Belief is the soil in which all effort grows. When belief is weak, effort produces little fruit. When belief is strong, even modest action multiplies itself. This is why some people appear to succeed effortlessly, while others remain stuck despite constant motion. The difference is not talent, luck, or intelligence, but expectation. Expectation is belief made active. It is the quiet knowing that results must follow. From childhood, many are trained to believe that wealth requires sacrifice, exhaustion, and suffering. This belief becomes a law in their lives. They expect difficulty, and difficulty meets them at every turn. They expect delay, and opportunities move slowly. They expect disappointment, and progress collapses just before completion. The mind does not question these instructions, it executes them. Belief does not shout, it whispers constantly. It is revealed in casual phrases, inner dialogue, and emotional reactions. When someone receives money and immediately feels anxiety, guilt, or fear of loss, that feeling exposes a belief that wealth is unsafe or temporary. When someone sees another prosper and feels resentment or disbelief, that reveals a belief that abundance is limited. These beliefs act as invisible contracts that govern income. Effort is neutral. It does not guarantee reward. Two people can apply the same effort and receive vastly different outcomes because their beliefs determine how life responds. One expects reward and notices openings, connections, and ideas. The other expects struggle and encounters obstacles, resistance, and fatigue. Life arranges circumstances to justify expectation. Belief also shapes identity. A person does not earn more than they believe they are worth. Income rises naturally when self-concept expands. When someone sees themselves as valuable, compensated, and supported, wealth finds ways to agree with that image. When someone sees themselves as overlooked or undeserving, money quietly avoids them even when opportunities are near. Expectation is not wishful thinking. It is certainty without tension. Wanting wealth while fearing it creates contradiction, and contradiction cancels power. Belief must be unified. The mind must accept prosperity as normal, appropriate, and inevitable. When this acceptance occurs, effort becomes effective instead of exhausting. Many believe they must first see results before believing. In truth, belief must come first. Results are effects, not causes. Waiting for evidence keeps one trapped in repetition. Those who grow wealthy expect increase before it appears, and their expectation pulls it into form. Belief also determines timing. When someone believes success takes years, it does. When someone believes wealth can come quickly, it often does. Time responds to assumption. The universe does not operate on human calendars but on mental agreement. Delay is rarely imposed from outside, it is sustained from within. Effort aligned with belief feels lighter. There is less forcing, less anxiety, and more intuition. Actions become precise instead of frantic. Decisions feel guided rather than pressured. This alignment creates momentum. Momentum attracts resources. Resources attract expansion. Expectation sharpens perception. Opportunities exist constantly, but belief decides which ones are visible. A mind trained in lack overlooks openings because it does not recognize them as possible. A mind trained in abundance notices chances, ideas, and collaborations because it assumes they belong there. Belief also influences how money behaves once it arrives. Some receive money only to lose it quickly because they expect loss. Others keep and multiply it because they expect stability and growth. Money obeys expectation like a shadow follows form. Effort without belief creates burnout. Belief without effort creates stagnation. But belief directing effort creates inevitability. When someone expects to be paid well, they negotiate differently, choose differently, and present themselves differently. Life responds to that posture. The wealthy are not those who work the hardest, but those who believe most consistently. Their confidence is not loud, but settled. They move as though success is normal, and so it becomes normal. They are not surprised by reward, they anticipate it. Expectation also protects against discouragement. When belief is strong, temporary setbacks are interpreted as adjustments, not failures. Faith keeps action steady. Doubt interrupts flow. Those who expect success persist calmly. Those who doubt quit emotionally even while continuing physically. Belief must be practiced daily. It is reinforced through words, images, and reactions. Every complaint weakens it. Every affirmation strengthens it. Every time someone chooses trust over fear, belief gains authority. The mind cannot hold two dominant beliefs at once. One must decide whether effort leads to struggle or to reward. That decision sets the pattern. Wealth follows the dominant assumption with precision and consistency. When belief changes, effort immediately becomes more productive. Results accelerate without additional strain. Income responds as though it was waiting for permission. Doors open that were always there but unseen. Expectation is not arrogance, it is alignment with law. Just as gravity responds without judgment, wealth responds without opinion. It moves toward belief as water moves toward depth. Those who understand this stop asking how hard they must work and begin asking what they expect their work to produce. The answer to that question quietly determines the outcome, long before effort begins. Words and thoughts are not harmless habits. They are precise instructions given to life. Every sentence spoken, aloud or silently, sets a direction. The mind is not passive, and reality is not random. Together they operate as a system of cause and effect. When thinking is undisciplined, income becomes unstable. When thinking is focused, money begins to behave with order. Most people speak without awareness. They repeat phrases learned from family, society, or past failure, never realizing they are authoring their future with careless language. When someone says they are always broke, money listens. When they joke about being unlucky, chance aligns with that identity. Life does not understand humor or exaggeration. It responds literally. Thought precedes form. Before money appears in the hand, it appears as an idea, an impulse, a conversation, or an opportunity. If the mind is trained to reject possibility, those signals are ignored or dismissed. If the mind is trained to expect supply, it recognizes value instantly. Discipline is the ability to choose which thoughts are allowed to stay. An undisciplined mind allows fear to wander freely. Fear speaks in questions that weaken direction. What if it fails? What if I lose? What if it never comes? These questions do not protect, they program hesitation. Hesitation interrupts flow. Money moves where movement is confident, not frantic, not frozen. Every word spoken about money carries emotional weight. Saying there is not enough reinforces limitation. Saying things will improve someday postpones results. The subconscious responds to present tense authority. It obeys certainty, not hope. Words must be chosen as carefully as actions because they are actions. Discipline does not mean suppressing emotion. It means refusing to let emotion become instruction. Feeling doubt is human. Speaking doubt is optional. The moment doubt is verbalized, it becomes a command. Silence preserves power. Faith spoken aloud multiplies it. The mind must be trained like a muscle. At first it resists control, pulling toward old patterns of complaint and worry. With repetition, it strengthens. New phrases feel unnatural until they become familiar. What feels forced today becomes automatic tomorrow. Every successful financial change begins with a change in inner dialogue. The conversations you have with yourself shape your decisions, posture, and risk tolerance. A person who tells themselves they are capable moves differently than one who repeats limitation. Confidence is not bravado. It is consistent inner agreement. Words also affect how others respond. Speech carries tone, expectation, and self-image. When someone speaks from certainty, people sense value. When someone speaks from doubt, opportunities hesitate. Money flows through people, systems, and exchanges, all of which respond to confidence. Thinking must be intentional. Idle thou. Ets drift toward fear because fear is familiar. Discipline means redirecting thought before it settles. When the mind begins to imagine loss, it must be corrected immediately. Replacement is more powerful than resistance. Choose a higher assumption and repeat it until it overrides the old. Visualization is a form of disciplined thinking. Seeing wealth as natural, organized, and beneficial prepares the mind to receive it. Chaos in thought produces chaos in finances. Clarity produces order. Order produces expansion. Language shapes identity. Saying I am becoming wealthy differs from saying I am wealthy. The former implies delay. The latter implies alignment. The mind works to prove statements true. It rearranges behavior and perception to match declared identity. Discipline also applies to listening. Absorbing conversations filled with scarcity weakens belief. Constant exposure to negative narratives programs limitation. One must guard the mind as carefully as the body. What you consume mentally becomes financial behavior. Repetition is the law of imprint. A single affirmation does little. Consistent language reshapes subconscious patterns. Over time, resistance fades and belief settles. When belief settles, results accelerate. Thought discipline affects spending as much as earning. Those who think clearly make aligned financial choices. They invest with calm, spend with intention, and save without fear. Emotional thinking creates impulsive decisions that sabotage growth. The disciplined mind expects compensation. It does not apologize for value. It does not underprice effort. It understands exchange as balanced and fair. This expectation changes negotiation outcome. Without aggression. Words spoken in private are as powerful as those spoken publicly. The subconscious hears everything. Whispered doubt carries the same weight as shouted confidence. One must speak kindly and firmly to oneself at all times. Correction must be immediate. When a limiting phrase escapes, replace it. Do not criticize yourself, simply redirect. Authority grows through consistency, not punishment. Over time, disciplined thinking creates a stable inner environment. From stability comes confidence. From confidence comes opportunity. From opportunity comes income that reflects order instead of chaos. Money responds to clarity. It avoids confusion. It expands where direction is strong. When words and thoughts align with abundance, finances organize themselves accordingly. The mind that governs itself governs results. Wealth becomes predictable, not accidental. Income becomes a pattern, not a surprise. When thinking is disciplined, money has no choice but to follow the structure provided. Money moves through calm faith, not fear, because fear tightens the inner channels through which supply must pass. Fear does not stop money by force, it stops it by confusion. A fearful mind sends mixed signals, desire pulling forward while doubt pulls back. Life responds by pausing. Wealth hesitates where certainty is absent. Calm faith is not excitement, urgency, or emotional intensity. It is quiet assurance. It is the inner knowing that what is needed is already arranged, even if unseen. This state creates openness. Openness allows movement. Money flows where it is trusted to flow. Fear always speaks in urgency. It demands immediate proof. It pressures action without clarity. Under fear, people make decisions too quickly or not at all. They cling to what they have or chase what they lack. Both behaviors signal scarcity. Scarcity contracts circulation. Faith relaxes the nervous system. When the body is calm, perception sharpens. Opportunities become visible. Timing improves. Conversations unfold naturally. Money often arrives through ease, not struggle, but fear blinds people to this truth. Many believe fear keeps them alert and responsible. In reality, fear keeps them reactive. It forces action driven by avoidance rather than purpose. Money responds poorly to avoidance. It moves toward intention, not panic. Calm faith does not deny reality, it interprets it differently. Where fear sees delay, faith sees preparation. Where fear sees loss, faith sees redirection. This interpretation keeps energy steady. Steady energy maintains flow. Money is sensitive to emotional atmosphere. It behaves differently around anxiety than around trust. In fear, money slips away through mistakes, mischances, or unnecessary expenses. In faith, money stays, multiplies, and returns. Letting go is not passive, it is active trust. It means releasing the need to control how, when, and through whom money arrives. Control is often disguised fear. Faith allows the unseen to work without interference. People often block wealth by constantly checking for results. This habit communicates doubt. Faith expects movement without surveillance. Just as seeds grow without daily inspection, supply develops without constant monitoring. Calm faith changes posture. The body relaxes. The voice steadies. Decisions slow to the right pace. This presence attracts cooperation. Thurs feel safe, engaging, investing, and offering opportunities. Fear repels because it seeks reassurance from the outside. Faith generates reassurance from within. Money follows inner stability. It avoids instability because instability disrupts circulation. Trusting money to return is essential. When people fear spending, they signal distrust. This creates stagnation. Circulation is life. Faith gives with confidence, knowing balance is restored. The calm mind makes better financial choices. It does not gamble emotionally or cling irrationally. It invests thoughtfully. It declines opportunities that are misaligned without panic. Discernment thrives in peace. Faith also prevents exhaustion. When people trust supply, they rest appropriately. Rest sharpens insight. Insight produces better outcomes than relentless effort. Overworking from fear produces diminishing returns. Money often arrives after surrender. Not surrender to defeat, but surrender of tension. When the mind releases strain, solutions surface. Ideas emerge unexpectedly. Help appears without force. Fear narrows focus. Faith expands it. A narrow mind sees few options. An expanded mind sees multiple paths. Money uses the widest available path. Calm faith does not argue with temporary appearances. It refuses to give power to momentary lack. By withholding emotional reaction, it prevents situations from hardening into patterns. Trust builds resilience. When challenges arise, faith remains steady. This steadiness prevents financial swings. Income becomes consistent because emotion no longer controls decisions. Many lose money not through lack of opportunity, but through fear-based timing. Acting too early, too late, or too desperately disrupts flow. Faith aligns timing naturally. Money is cooperative. It moves toward environments where it is respected, trusted, and allowed. Fear disrespects money by assuming it will betray, disappear, or fail. Faith treats money as reliable. The release of resistance is essential. Resistance is inner argument. It consumes energy that could support creation. When resistance dissolves, effort becomes effective. Calm faith creates receptivity. Receptivity allows assistance. Help often comes through others, but fear rejects help out of pride or suspicion. Faith accepts support without guilt. Faith also dissolves guilt around wealth. Guilt repels money because it suggests unworthiness. Calm trust affirms that abundance is natural and beneficial. The more relaxed the expectation, the faster results often appear. Tension delays. Ease accelerates. This paradox confuses the fearful mind but rewards the faithful one. When fear is released, money stops being dramatic. It becomes routine. Bills are paid without anxiety. Income arrives without shock. Growth feels natural. Calm faith does not mean doing nothing. It means acting without inner turbulence. Action taken from peace carries power. Action taken from fear carries friction. As resistance fades, confidence replaces vigilance. Confidence allows long-term thinking. Long-term thinking builds lasting wealth rather than temporary gain. Money reflects emotional mastery. When fear no longer dictates behavior, finances stabilize. When trust becomes habitual, abundance becomes predictable. Supply responds to allowance. What is allowed flows. What is resisted stalls. Calm faith opens the gate and steps aside, letting wealth move freely into form,